Yeah.
All right. Hello, beautiful souls. How are you? Welcome to episode 8. And today I'm so excited to be chatting to the beautiful Amanda, who is from Amanda Nicole. And you would have heard from the intro all about Amanda and her work. And, you know, you can totally understand why I want to interview her. So welcome, my lovely, beautiful soul. How are you?
Hey, Joe. Thank you. And thank you to, lovely to meet you and your community here live. And yes, I'm Amanda Nicole, an intuitive guide, mentor, and psychic. And I love helping women connect with their intuition, clearing the path, clearing the energy so that we can hear that inner voice, or see those nudges, feel those whispers that come through to remind us of where we need to go next and take action.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. As you guys all know, that this is my jam. And when I'm not doing all the other things for my clients, this is me and part of who I am and part of my journey with my work as well, if you like. So let's get stuck in. So we're going to chat about self-care, intuition, and self-care practices. I'm just going to let it go, and you can just bring through what you need to bring through and let our audience have some of your gift.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you, Joe. Yeah. So for those that are new to intuition, the way I see it and describe it to others, it's that inner voice, the whispers, the little sort of signs that we might see or feel that we're not, when we're starting out on our journey, we might not be too sure about. But the more we sort of tune into that and take action, we're often guided to go a different path or to take a different road when we're out driving. And I know that was something Joe and I were chatting about before being here now. And I really encourage and support women to tune into that, to clear the energy around us, because often when we're hearing those things for the first time, we might not know what they mean, or we might ignore them, and then they start to, when we look back, they start to get a bit louder. And if we keep ignoring them, then we have a bit like a tower effect in a part of our life where everything just sort of falls over or falls out. But it's around clearing our energy, and that's what I see as one of the self-care practices that we can do to do that. And it really depends on what you like to do. That's the way I see it. That's what I encourage my clients and community to do, to tune into what you like to do. So whether you're someone that likes to meditate, then go meditate, or try that out. If you love being out in nature, go to nature, whether it's the beach and being near the water and just the swirl and the sound of the sea, whether it's out in the forest, wherever it may be in nature, go there. Another big self-care practice that I encourage and do myself is journaling. So reflective practice, just jumping in a notebook or on your audio and just letting your thoughts come out, because when we start to clear that stuff out of our head, then we can really start to hear what's trying to come through more clearly, and we can start to process things a lot easier, and our awareness grows. So journaling's a big one as well. So they're often the main ones. Jump in.
Journaling, because I'm not like a journaling person like all the time. But then when you just said about audio, now that's something that just pricked my ears up and went, why didn't I think of like recording my thoughts rather than writing them down? Because I followed like law of attraction and stuff like that, and one of the things that you read about there is like the dream day journaling. And I find that I'll start it and I'll do perhaps 1-2 days, but then I don't do it, because it's like it's almost like I get into bear mode and then just go, I can't bother. I don't want to do that today. And if anybody knows about soul modes, and if you haven't read soul modes, I would highly recommend you go and get that book by Carly Marie. And so like when you just said about audio, I'm like, so how would that work? Would I just like get my phone and then just start talking?
Yeah, absolutely. Or jump in, for those that use apps, there's a Vox app where you can do like an extended period of time, like you can do, up to 15 minutes, and just jump in and allow whatever needs to come through. So I do a bit of audio and I then listen back to it. And I find that really helps me. It helps sort of process whatever I'm working through, but it also on another level helps me sort of hear how I reflect on things, and it's helped me grow my own awareness because I'm actually hearing how I speak and how I'm processing it. And then the next time I go to do it, or whenever down the track, it's like, oh yeah. And I found it actually has helped with my communication and the way that I reflect. I'm an audio visual person as well, so I do like the audio side of things to hear it back and go, okay, yep, that's what I'm processing, and then work through something else. So if you're into audio,
really
I encourage you to do it.
And I think the other thing that stems from that is like as women we have this self-talk, and if I hear one of my friends with something that comes out that's not quite positive about themselves, I always ask, would you speak to your best friend like that? And or would you speak to me like that? If it's somebody that I know very well, would you speak to me like that? And if their answer is no, then it's like, well, why would you speak to yourself like that? So I think what you said about listening back, and I do have Voxer. I've actually got Otter as well, so that actually would transcribe.
Otter, yeah.
So I actually really like that. I like that idea of speaking, because like sometimes I don't know about you, but like when I'm going somewhere, if like for example when I did my Canva workshop the other week, I speak out loud in the car. Like I'm not speaking to myself. I'm speaking to my guides and to the universe. So I don't feel like I'm like on my own. But to other people it might feel like it's a bit odd to be just talking to yourself in the car. But then if I got my voice recorder, then it like makes more sense, because you get there and go, I don't even know what I just said, because half the stuff actually just comes out because you're not thinking about it, you're just speaking. So I suppose like with what like we're doing now, you're having a conversation, you don't know what's going to come out. So speaking and listening, I really love that. Oh my God, I'm so happy now.
It's been a game changer for me, because when you were sharing about how that's what you do sometimes, or you're speaking to your guides, or just allowing that information to come through, I do that too. And often when I go out for a walk, I'm just kind of like nattering to myself, but it's actually that information that's coming through, like my guides or my angels or my higher self, whoever you connect with, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I sort of process it. So that's where the audio, jumping in the audio is good, because you can just let it come through. And these days now, if you're walking around with a headset or earpiece,
nobody knows you. Chatting to yourself.
That's it. And then you listen back and you're like, oh, okay, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm working through. It's really, really valuable. So I do encourage people to do that. I'm not sure if there's much out there around the audio, but I'm a big believer of it. I know it works. Really it has for me.
That would definitely. And I know, like, like for a lot of people don't have, or they say they don't have that time to sit down on the journal, or they don't know what to actually write. And sometimes I know when I was at school, I was really good at English language, and one of the things I was really good at was writing the stories. And the ones that I loved especially was where they either gave you a title or they gave you the first sentence. And so I think, like, even having some journaling prompts for audio, so that you know, like you might have in your notes, depending what it is, like, how do I feel today? Or what's coming through for me today? Like, what do I need to do today? What is going to fill my cup, or what is going to spark joy, or, you know, make me feel happy? Just having a couple of things in your notes and then going, right, I'm going to answer that one. That's what's coming to me, and going, oh yeah, like that would be really good. And yeah, just walking around the block and having, make sure you've got your headphones, and or yeah. I mean, I think even sometimes, like when people have got the earbuds in, you can't quite see them, you think people are like chatting away to themselves, but you know, obviously we're used to that. You think when we were teenagers, like people would have just gone, you know, like they would have just looked at you, gone out for like, you would have looked like you were talking to yourself. But yeah, off the technology, hey.
It is. And like you were saying about the journaling, it is often a bit of a stumbling block, or where people feel a bit stretched in the beginning, like, what do I write? How do I start? I haven't got the time to sit down and write. So yeah, the audio, if you're open to audio, can be a great way of just starting to do that, and you're still processing your thoughts and clearing out your mind and allowing the creative and the ideas to come through. So
with what you were saying about the with intuition, obviously different people feel like their intuition in different ways. So some people feel it or like hear, and some people feel it in their heart, some people feel it in their gut, other people might get pins and needles, or like I get goosebumps where like if something's like really like profound, or like I find something like, you know, that something really, really resonates me, and depending like what it is, they'll either be on my arms or my legs. And, you know, like it's like the really good ones are in your legs, and like something that's like, oh, I really like that, you know, like your hairs on your arms stick up, or you just get these goosebumps, or, you know, like it gives you a shiver or whatever. But, you know, for those people that aren't, they don't know what those things sort of mean. You know, you mentioned like going for a walk or being in nature. So if you're at home and you want to like clear, like I would use crystals, or sage, or, you know, even a spray that you can buy now, like a sage spray if you don't want to burn. What are other things that people can do to start getting into that higher space, so into their crown chakra, to bring through those ideas, remembering that they need to ground themselves at the end?
Yes, the grounding part is important too. There's a few ways that I encourage people. So one is decluttering. So, you know, going through, depending on if, you know, how you like to declutter or want to start. You know, there's many people that follow Marie Kondo. I've done hers and I absolutely love it. But yeah, you start with the easy stuff like the clothes, the books, the papers, before you get to sentimental. So you start with those if you want to follow her methodology. Otherwise, just start wherever you're comfortable with and just start clearing up stuff. I know for me recently, I did a massive clearing of all my papers. Like I went through my cupboards and found like notes from university, because I'm from like the 90s. So it was you know, before all the internet and everything.
Got some of those as well.
And things like that. So I went through all that, and then I had like a lot of stuff from when I was overseas. So essentially I did some big clearing of stuff, things I'd been hanging on to because I think I might have been afraid to let go of them, and I cleared it all out. And whilst it didn't necessarily create a lot of physical space, in some ways it certainly did, but it just cleared the energy around me because I'd let go of whatever was then connected, you know, to those notes, to those books, to that thing that I'd kept. And so it's a way of clearing your energy. So clearing your space by decluttering is a great place to start. So whether you just want to jump into your linen closet, or you go, hey, I'm going to do my clothes, do my books, do my papers, however it works for you, go
awesome.
there. So that's a big one.
There's a lady in my network that's Marie Kondo trained.
Yes.
Her name's Michelle Anderson. She's the Tidy Effect. And, you know, like she always talks to us about things sparking joy, which is Marie Kondo. And so she's got us all into the thank you, bye. So if something's not sparking joy, say thank you, bye. And
yes,
it's like, I agree. I think, and even digital declutter, like, you know, I have stuff, because I get so many ideas there. I used to put them into notebooks, and now they go, I've actually got a Trello board that's now called an ideas parking lot. And so all my ideas, because the other thing is, and it's decluttering your mind as well, because if those ideas stay up here in our head, they're the things that wake us up in the middle of the night and go, hey, 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 hey. And so I find that if I declutter those things out of my head and put them in my one place, because before I would have had like 15 notebooks, because, you know, like a girl's got to love her stationery. And now they all go in there. I find that that's a better system for me, because it's like, you know, like you look at your Google Drive or your photos or stuff like that, and you don't know, you want that one photo because, you know, you talked about it and you've gone, I'll send that photo to you. And do you think you can find it? Because like your photos are all over the place. And so like one of the things that she's been doing is actually digital declutter classes and workshops and stuff. So that's another big thing for me. And yeah, definitely the decluttering your mind is a big thing. So whether that's your notes app, or it's Trello or Asana or ClickUp or whatever it is you use, even like, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night and you go, oh, I didn't do such and such. I always find, you know, if I, you know, get a notepad or something by the side of the bed and just write that thing down, you can get back to sleep because it's sort of gone out of your head. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things for me. I think even last night I was reading, and I always read fiction at night because I find I can't read non-fiction, because otherwise it stimulates my brain and then I can't sleep. So I think I was reading and my eyes were tired, and I turned my light off and then literally switched my light off, you know, I'm like sleepy, and then my brain just goes, hey, you didn't do such and such. Like literally the head on the pillow, bang, bang, bang. Hey, Joe, you didn't do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. So I gets up, turns the light back on, opens my Trello board on my tablet, puts it in my Trello board, read another 5 minutes, and then went back to sleep. So yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but that's how mine works, and just get it out of my head and onto some paper or into a digital app or something.
Yes, it does help storing the ideas, because also too they can sort of fly away too. You can forget about some of them as well. And they were really cracking ideas. You're just like, oh, that one's gone with the wind.
That's so true. That is really true. And you're like, wow, what was that? Like, that was like, oh, what was it? And it's like literally on the tip of your tongue. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that one wasn't ready to come out yet. It will come back later. But then you're like, I still can't remember what that idea was. So maybe we just can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from the decluttering for clearing our system ready for that intuition, what other things can we do?
Yeah, things that relax us. So whether that's reading, listening to music, because that's going to, you know, slow down our energy, but also just, you know, help us relax more so that we can, hear what's coming through. Or just, it might be for someone, you know, when we're just starting out, it might be you know, when you get that little like, hey, I need to call that friend, or when you're thinking of someone, actually following through on it.
Yeah.
So writing a note, or if they're into letters, or giving them a call, or sending them a text, just going,
That's so
hey,
true. Because quite
yeah,
often you do that, and like I've done that with my mom and gone, like, I need to call mom or something, and like I've called my mom, and mom's just gone, oh, I was just thinking about you. And that's happened, like, so not just with my mom, but you know, with quite a few people. You just go, and they say, and you're obviously on that same vibration at the same time.
yes,
Most people will say, oh, you were on the same wavelength, but yeah, to me it's like, oh, you're vibrating at the same level at that particular time, even though, you know, you might be on different time zones or whatever. So yeah, that's like, that's so true. And I was going to say something and it's flown out the door.
it's blown
So
out.
it's gone. It's not important.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's gone. It's
yeah,
gone.
that's all right. Yeah, but then the main ones that I you know, recommend, or if you're open to, like, you know, having a healing, like whether you're into Reiki, kinesiology, going to someone that does readings, whatever it may be, if you're open to that, that can often be a way to clear the energy, because that healer or that person's going to bring up some stuff. And this is something that Joe and I were chatting about earlier, was that it's going to bring up what you need right now in that next kind of moment. You might think, oh, that's something from way back, but it's something that's connected to now.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's a really great way to clear your energy. And I know for me, not only do I do that to help others, but I've got mentors and people that I go to help me clear stuff, you know, kinesiology, energy healing, and it really does make a difference.
Absolutely. I had kinesiology for the first time a few years ago, and it literally blew my mind, and there was stuff came up that I didn't even know was there. Like, for those of that know me, like, personally, and like have been around a while, I was subject to domestic violence for 10 years with my ex-husband. And like, I've been with my husband Paul now for 22 years. And you know, so this was only a few years ago, and I went to have kinesiology, and all this stuff came out, but it wasn't the energy around forgiving him. It was forgiving me. It was forgiving myself for allowing that behavior, and allowing him to, you know, physically and mentally abuse me at that time. So like, and like, you know, like, if anybody's had kinesiology, it's an amazing healing service. And you know, I remember going in, and it felt like she was like pushing down on my body, on my arms and my legs when I first started. And then she like went around my stomach, and she said to me, you know, like, oh, do you have breathing issues? And I said, I have asthma, or I have mild asthma. And then she had said, you had stomach issues. And I said, I'm gluten intolerant. And then she was like, oh, I'm feeling like this forgiveness. And I was like, okay. And she went, yeah, but not forgiveness of someone, forgiveness of self. And then just tears like started coming out my eyes. Like, I was like absolutely fine up until this time. And then the tears started, and then I was bawling. And she's like, what's coming up? And then all this stuff came up. And so we got rid of it. She helped me to release it, and like, you know, to forgive myself. And like, oh my God, I felt like I was like a ton lighter. And then when she was pressing on my arms and my legs, it was like my arms and legs were flying up in the air. And it was like, I went to her, what did you do to me? She went, I didn't do anything. She's like, we just cleared the energy around you. And, you know, and I think when we first went in, she got me to walk. Like, you know, like when you walk like a soldier, is what I think. And you walk a certain way, so arms and legs. And she tried to get me to walk the opposite way. And when I walked in the door, there was no way that my body was walking the opposite way to what you should walk. But then when she'd finished, she went, okay, now try the walk, we'll call it. I could do it straight away. And you're just like, hang on, what did you do? Like, I was like, I physically could not do it. Like my brain was like, no, that's not right. Like, it's not natural to do that. And no, it's not, because it's the wrong way round. But it's like rubbing your tummy and patting your head, and then you try and do it the opposite way around, and it's like, yeah, I can't do that way. But that was my experience. That was my first experience with kinesiology. So if somebody hasn't gone through an energetic healing, or had a reading, or worked with somebody to clear that space, do you have something that you would recommend that they try like first, before then moving on to things? Because I like tried all sorts over the years, and like I've been psychics and kinesiology and sound healing. Love crystal bowls and Tibetan bowls and the shamanic drum as well. And like
that sound healing is beautiful.
Oh my God, it's very grounding as well. So would you recommend something for somebody like who's just dipping their toes in the spiritual waters?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I firstly say, well done and awesome that you're dipping your toes in and that you're curious. Like, yay, let's celebrate that. You're not crazy. You just think, that there's something bigger out there.
Join the club.
Yeah, welcome. But yeah, no, things that you can start with are some of what we touched on earlier. So you could start with, journaling, whether you want to do audio or writing. You could start listening to some music for meditation, or giving that a go, seeing what you feel comfortable with. You could do some gratitude work. I find that's a good one, and forgiveness work. There's a beautiful meditation, and I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. And it's called Ho'oponopono.
Oh, I love you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I forgive you.
And I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Yes.
That is amazing. Yeah.
I reckon actually that's the one, and I'm feeling tingly now, so I feel like someone needs to heal this. I was like, okay, yeah. So feel free to try those other ones, but this is the one that I really encourage, because I feel like someone needs to hear this. Yeah,
that one's a good one.
It is so moving. Like, I don't even know how to explain it other than when it was recommended to me, and I listened to the YouTube meditation. I was like, whoa, that was just so powerful. It just resonated. And now I do it on myself. At times, when I'm looking in the mirror, and if there's something, I just say I love me, I forgive me, and I'm sorry. And I do, I love you, I forgive me, and I'm sorry. Yeah. And I don't know, you feel something just kind of different.
Like
something
it's like
shifts.
Something's gone. And like I started with Louise Hay, and with her mirror work, and like I've worked with a few people in my leadership roles around the mirror work. And like I know when I first started it, like to look in the mirror and actually look at yourself is quite confronting to start with, because we don't always love ourselves and what we look like. You've only got to give somebody a compliment to then for them to just go, oh yeah, like you just go, oh, your hair looks amazing today, and then they'll just go, oh yeah, I need to wash it, or like I don't like the color, or whatever it is. That's what we're saying to ourselves. So for me, the thought of looking in the mirror and telling myself at that time, I love you, like I cried, and I cried a lot. Like I couldn't look at myself and say at that time, I love you, you know, it was hard for me to even look and go, oh, your eyes look pretty, or, you know, like you got cute dimples or whatever. And now it's like, yeah, look at me, I'm beautiful. Like, you know, I can say that in the mirror now, and mean that, like, I love me as I am. And yeah, of course there's some bits that I could do with some work on, but that doesn't mean I don't love me at the moment exactly as I'm, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So it's yeah, if you haven't tried mirror work, I would highly recommend it. And definitely that I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you is
Yes, there's something beautiful about that. And then the mirror work is so powerful too. And yeah, I've cried as well, and it's okay to cry.
yeah,
Like, that's what
absolutely,
I say. It's
absolutely,
okay. You're shedding, you're releasing emotions. You know,
yeah,
we can often be scorned for crying, but it's okay.
exactly. It's and I think some days we need to do that. Like, we need to
Mm,
release that. You know, like, quite often you feel like your heart might feel heavy, or your throat might feel blocked, or, you know, like,
mm,
to me, you know, obviously that's your heart chakra is blocked or your throat chakra is blocked. But if we're not speaking and getting out that stuff, we're not going to clear that energy that's there, that clearly needs it. And some, you know, it could be in your tummy, it could be
mm,
like the whole way through. It might even be up here, like, you know, it could be like you get pain behind your eyebrows, so like your
mm,
third eye chakra, and, you know, it's whatever it is, it just needs to be released. And even calling somebody, like, if you've got a bestie, call your
mm,
bestie. I went to an event on Wednesday, and the lady there was amazing, and she's her name's Emily Gower, and she's an author and inspirational speaker. And one of the things she said that she does now is, if something's bothering her for more than 24 hours, she gives herself 24 hours. If that thing is still there after 24 hours, she will call somebody and tell them. She said, because for our mental health and our self-care and self-love, like, if we don't get that out, that's when we start going down that spiral, and then we
mm,
start having, you know, mental health issues. And yeah, it might not be fixed, but a problem shared is a problem halved, is the, you know, the old
mm,
saying. And it's so true. Like, you know, I mean, some of the stuff that, like, I shared with you before we chatted,
mm,
obviously I needed to say those things, um because otherwise they wouldn't have come out. And but it's important that we share, and that we do that for our own mental health and self-care. And that's part of that journey with the self-care, the self-love, and the intuition.
mm.
Because if we don't have the first two, I'm getting goosebumps, like, just saying. If we don't,
Yes.
if we don't look after ourselves, we don't look after our mental health, then we're not going to hear those nudges, we're not going to hear those whispers, and we're not going to feel those things in our guts, in our hearts, in our third eye, in our crown, that want to come out and say, oh my God, you're amazing, and here's a gift, and, you know, here's, you know, whatever it is, whether it's an idea for a business, or it's an idea for a project, or it's an idea
Mm.
for a new color in your bathroom, or, you know, whatever it is, there's something there that wants to tell you what it is at that precise moment. So yeah, it's
That's it. Yeah. And also too, going back to what you were saying, by, you know, sharing something, it's also stemming from that too, is like the acknowledgement of that. By sharing it, you're actually, not that you know, spraying it out to the whole community, but you might go to a friend, you might reach out for help, but you're actually acknowledging how you're feeling, where you're at, and you're recognizing that. So you're actually acknowledging your feelings and your emotions, and then you're able to start to move forward. You're not like suppressing them and pushing them down, and then they start to just sort of like hoard in your body or your energy. You're allowing them up and out, and then, like you said, you can start to take the next steps.
Absolutely. And I think as well, when you share stuff, like the person that you're sharing with, you don't know what they're going through, and something that you say to that person could resonate with that person, and they might go, do you know what, I've been feeling a bit like that. And theirs might have been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they haven't actually told anybody. Theirs might be, I've had a sore throat, or I've been having like gastro symptoms or whatever, and sometimes we do get those things because we don't share. And so by sharing what it is that you're feeling, you could be helping your friend, or then the energy goes out because that friend is going to possibly share with another friend and say, hey, my friend has been suffering with this, and this has been happening to me. And and then that energy then goes out, and that's all healing energy, and that's all healing love, because it starts with you. It starts with you deciding in that moment that you're going to share, and that you're going to help yourself, but also try and help someone else.
Yes, it's so true. Yes. And it helps normalize too, because like you said, someone might have been feeling something similar, gone through something similar, like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, and I've been going through this. So it helps with the connection and normalizing it. And like you said, with that healing as well, sending out healing energy and vibes.
Absolutely. So, oh my God, we could just like literally just chat all day. Hey, so
we could, but not quite.
This is probably one of my longer episodes. I think my last one, not the last one I did, but the one before was like 6 minutes. So I was like, all right, that was just a download. But that's all good. So if somebody like really loves what you're saying and loves your energy around the podcast, how can they connect with you and work with you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's a few ways. So if you're into journaling, I do have a free Facebook group called Journal to Joy, and that's full of journal prompts, tips and tools. So that's there for you. I also do live free card readings on my Facebook page, Amanda Nicole Intuitive Guide. And if you'd like more personalized support, so if you've got one or two topics that you'd like to dive deeper into and get insights from those in particular, then I offer one-to-one readings for up to a whole hour. And I also do spiritual mentoring as well as a next step if that's where you wanted to go. So if you're starting out on your journey and you want some guidance, I offer 6 weeks of mentoring, and it's tailored to where you are right now. If you're curious and you're just starting out, or you're further down the path, there to provide support and mentoring, because mentoring is healing as well, as one of my guides shared with me. They're the different ways that you can work out. So head across to my socials. I've got a website, amandanicole.com.au, and it's all there.
Awesome. And I will leave the links in the show notes for today, but please head over and give Amanda some love. She is amazing. She's part of a membership that we're both in with Stacey Marie, and so that's how we got to know each other, and we've become friends. And obviously we have the spiritual side in common, which is always beautiful, and it always leads to some amazing conversations. So thank you so much. Like, I have loved speaking with you, and no doubt we will have lots of chats down the track. But for today, thank you so much, and we will check you. And for everybody else, have a amazing day, whatever you are doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you next time. Big love. Chat soon.